Hello and welcome to the Turntable Gallery here on Warncliffe Road on the docks. This is our new show, EIN VERRUCKTER WEISER. It represents my old work and my new work, and the collection is tied together by water and the theme of flooding, water damage, etc, etc. So throughout the show there are pieces of work which unfortunately got damaged in a flood that we had back in April, and they're works which luckily I've been able to restore to a greater or lesser degree, but I will be doing that during the duration of the exhibition. But also that is tied together with some new work which I'm creating, which basically take the form of film sets, and they are recreations of a film that was unfortunately lost back in 1927 when a massive flood hit Germany. So there is that twinning basically of the two works. Now the reason why I am trying to recreate that is my previous role was in stage design and scenery making, and a lot of the works that you can see here take that discipline and they make it into an art context. Okay, so this is our red chamber, and it combines with a green behind you and a blue in the next room, and that is the RGB colour scheme which early film, photography, etc. used to use to colorise it. And again, it's working with that film, the theme of film. Here we have a piece which was quite extensively damaged, but I am currently working on the restoration of. Behind us here is my shrine of dead furniture. They are wrapped and shrouded, so it works with the theme of sombre reverence. They are forming a shrine, and a makeshift one at that. That's why these fairy lights sort of bedeck it, and they have these kind of lights which shoot up from there, almost like an emanation, I guess, from the plants in which they sit. But the idea is, again, that there's a quiet sort of worshipfulness to it, which kind of comes out through the stacking. Again, it echoes a lot of the elements that you see in sort of these kind of temporary or makeshift Catholic shrines. So it's dealing with that sort of that religiosity, which it feels it requires, especially seeing as these pieces have been resurrected. Okay, so again, working on the theme of it being a retrospective, here are two pieces which are mainstays of my I guess, body of work. We have Black Hole in the foreground here, and the verming of the gutter at the back here. And the idea is that I'm staging this in a way which uses a lot of the trappings of the dock. So things like the ivy and the brambles and that sort of the raw nature which comes out. And this animal is flocking amongst them, frolicking amongst them, I should say, and it has this sort of stash of nitrous oxide canisters, which again used to be littering the landscape for quite some time. They've escaped, and so there are little mouse traps everywhere to make sure that they don't get out into the outside world. But this is the green chamber, and again we have another colourway. And in a lot of respects, this is a bit of a homage to Edgar Allan Poe's The Masque of the Red Death, which had various coloured rooms to set various moods about them. But also the idea there was that everyone was holed up inside this castle, which protected them from the plague outside. And I think that that's kind of what we're trying to do here, especially with these chambers being as solid as they are. You know, the idea is that they should have been impervious, but they weren't, unfortunately. And, you know, the water did leak in, and maybe it was fortuitous, because it meant that we could represent or represent work in this way. And this is the blue room. This is the final chamber that we have. This is where a lot of the damage occurred. But the blue, I guess it's watery, isn't it? So it speaks of water and water ingress. It's also why I'm wearing blue today. But this is my new work. So this is for a lost German film, which unfortunately no longer exists in anything other than slides. So the idea is that I would recreate that. I would bring it back. I would resurrect it, I guess, from the dead. And it kind of speaks to the my model making past, but also draws in a lot of the works that I've been doing previously. And I think that if I can maybe restore that film in whatever form that takes, then it feels like there's a full circle that has gone about here in the healing process. So this will be the new work. Like I said, I will be making sets from those stills which still exist, and hopefully I will be able to photograph them and represent them in a way which feels like it's a renewal.